Gathered around the living room table, the family eagerly awaited their turn to roll the dice, shuffle the cards, or move their game piece forward. It was game night in the 1960s, a time when families would come together to enjoy the simple pleasures of playing board games and card games. Let's take a look at some of the popular games of the decade. Perhaps one of the most iconic games of the 1960s was the classic game of Clue. Originally released in 1949, it wasn't until the 1960s that Clue truly became a household name. With its mysterious murder theme and elaborate mansion setting, Clue quickly became a fan favorite, and it's easy to see why. Players take on the roles of various characters, each with their own motives for committing murder, and then they use their deductive reasoning skills to determine who committed the crime, with what weapon, and in which room. Another popular game of the decade was Risk, a strategic war game that put players in the role of world conquerors. Risk was originally released in 1957, but quickly gained a cult following in the 1960s. The game was known for its complex rules and intricate gameplay, and it was not uncommon for games to last for hours on end. Players had to carefully plan their moves and deploy their armies strategically if they hoped to emerge victorious. For those who preferred word games, Scrabble was a popular choice. Originally released in the 1930s, Scrabble truly hit its stride in the 60s, with players flocking to this challenging game of wordplay. Scrabble required players to form words on a game board using letter tiles. With each letter assigned a point value, the goal was to score as many points as possible by creating high-scoring words and strategically placing the tiles to take advantage of the bonus squares. The game of life was first introduced in the United States in 1960, and it quickly became a popular board game among families. The game offered players a chance to experience the various stages of life, from college to retirement, and to make important decisions along the way. Players would spin a wheel to determine how many spaces to move, and then they'd make choices about careers, marriage, children, and other important life events. The game was notable for its colorful game board, plastic cars, and fun gameplay, and it quickly became a staple of family game nights in the 1960s. No list of popular board games would be complete from the 1960s without mentioning Monopoly. This classic game of capitalism and real estate was originally released in the 1930s, but again, it saw a resurgence of popularity in the 1960s. Games could be cutthroat and often quite lengthy. In fact, I think I probably still have an unfinished game going on. Twister combined physical dexterity with social interaction. In Twister, players had to contort their bodies in various ways to reach different colored dots on a mat. With each player occupying a different colored dot, it was simple, and it brought people together in a fun and lighthearted way. Twister was a sensation when it was first released in 1966, and it continues to be played by people of all ages to this day. Sorry, a game of luck and strategy that was first released in 1934, saw a surge in popularity in the 60s. In Sorry, players raced to get their pieces from start to finish while sabotaging their opponents along the way. The simple mechanics and its ability to be played by players of all ages made it a great choice for family game night. Operation, a game of skill and precision, was first released in 1965. In Operation, players take turns removing various body parts from a cartoon patient without touching the sides of the openings. It had an innovative design, teaching players about anatomy and encouraging fine motor skills, and it was a popular choice for families with young children to try to get the bones out without making the buzzer go off. All of these games so far have stood the test of time. They're still being sold, played, and enjoyed by new generations of gamers. Some games, though, never seemed to gain much traction, and they quickly fell to the wayside. One such game was Square Mile, a game of land development that was released in 1962. In Square Mile, players took on the role of real estate developers, buying and selling land and building on it to create a bustling city. The game was notable for its modular board design, which allowed players to create a new game board each time they played. Despite its innovative gameplay and its sleek design, Square Mile never achieved the same level of popularity as the other games of that era. Another game that was popular in the 1960s, but since fallen out of favor, is Careers, a game of personal and professional development. In Careers, players set out on a lifelong journey, choosing careers, earning money, and pursuing their goals. It was innovative, with an emphasis on player choice and its open-ended nature, which allowed for a wide variety of different play styles. Yet another forgotten gem from the 1960s was Probe, a word game that combined elements of Scrabble and Clue. In Probe, players had to guess the secret word of their opponents by asking questions and receiving clues in return. But despite its use of deductive reasoning and strategic thinking, Probe was overshadowed by other more popular word games of the era. Games bring people together, and there's nothing quite like family game night. The sounds of laughter and friendly competition filling the air, as players, young and old, eagerly vied for victory. Family game night was a cherished tradition in the 1960s, providing a fun and engaging way for families to spend time together and create lasting memories. What were your favorite family games growing up? We'd love to read about them in the comments below. Thanks for watching Memory Mountain. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next story looking back over the landscape of Americana.